At stage 3 is what we call the procedure under Article 138. Well, my constitutional law mentor, Dr. Gibson Kamau always used to tell me, and I believe most of the people who had the privilege to be his pupils, that the Constitution must be understood in a historical context. And therefore it is important that we understand Article 138 in a historical context. What is this context? This context, my lords, is this, that we do not have an equivalent of Article 138. We do 6 elections. The Constitution has not told you this is a procedure at the parliamentary elections or the governor or anybody else. It is only reserved for one position, the president position. The procedure are the presidential elections. And this was to leave no room of doubt that this is how in which the verification process ought to be carried about. My lords, the process after we vote in a presidential elections, I first voted in 1992. And since that year, the first multi-party elections, after voting, of course in Kenya they tell you, vote, go home, watch it on television. You will get to know the outcome. How it has always worked is that you are there at home, results are read from constituencies, from everywhere else across the country. It is a ritual that happens every year as far as I can remember since the year 1992. Now, what is the importance of this ritual? It is important to remember that in the year 2007, this ritual was disrupted by the events that happened at KICC. The disruptions of this ritual led to the post-elections violence, and the rest of it we are all aware what happened after that. So that it is not a simple ritual. And so that in the year 2010, when the Constitution was written, it provided for a sections and 7 days and a procedure, setting out in no uncertain terms, this is how after people vote for their president, we are going to process the issues. So that the Constitution having dealt with that issue against that historical background, you cannot have a situation where subversion through a gazette notice is tried to be effected. That would be treason in every sense of the word. I got to the issue of what's the importance of the ritual. To the winner of an election, this ritual that we saw in this constituency, what you got in my neighborhood is very important. Because the people, while we are seeing all this being displayed, and remember that during Bomas, the display to show Kenyans that these are the results that were coming in, this is how the figures were adding up, that was disabled at some stage. So that what effectively this meant, that the true purpose of Article 138 ends up being defeated. Defeated in the sense that for the winner goes and declares that I had the most numbers in accordance to Chebukati. And the loser, everybody else says, I do not know how you got those numbers. I actually thought I had more than you had. This is what was tried to be prevented. But it is equally important, the procedure under Article 138 for the loser. Why is it important for the loser? Because the loser, and in this case the loser is a loser with say about 6.9 million votes, quite a number of Kenyans. This is a loser on his 5th time seeking the presidency. The last one says he lost under controversial circumstances. There was everything necessary to ensure that for purposes of these elections, if you are to lose the election, the math must make sense. It must add up. The Kenyans, those people who voted for you, must also see that you did not do very well, because it is clear these people in that other place did not vote for you as you expected. Now, but when you have now a true situation on the 15th, the dramatic events of the 15th of August,